Yo, what is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. I am having a good day, and I have a mason jar full of water, which means it's a pretty good day. All right, so let's jump into all this. I wanted to show you guys uh, my Ableton session that I was running at the ramp. Uh, if it's just a ministry church, so one thing, if you know anything about the ramp, is it's flow all day. Flow, flow, flow. So a lot of people, I get this question all the time. How do you get Ableton to flow with you? So it's really easy with multi-tracks when you drag them in, and that's your set arrangement. But what happens when all of a sudden your vocalist, whoever's leading, wants to go back to another chorus? Well, you can't do that with multi-tracks. If you just drag them in, you can't just go right back. So there's a way that I've been flowing for years doing this. I know there's multiple ways to do this, right? So don't jump down my throat about it. But I'm going to show you how I do it. I'll show you off the Ableton session. Now, where I'm at, the church that I play at now, up here in Ohio, is a little different. It's a little simpler setup as far as my rig, but I'll show you what I was doing for the ramp. So I just had, I used Ableton for a number of things. I had my Omnisphere going here, and had a number of sounds going through one instance of Omnisphere. You can have up to 8 sounds going through one Omnisphere instance, but so I did that. So that was for live sounds and stuff like that. I had piano, organ, Rhodes. Uh, Here's where I had my uh, actual boards at. I had the Phantom, Roland Phantom, had a Juno for cool synths, leads, pads, all that. And then I have a Korg, what is it? Micro Korg or whatever, and it has some cool vocoder stuff. Has key bass is mainly what I use it for. It's got some arping stuff that I like. So I would run through these, and I'm flying through these. I'm not going in depth, but um, you can see I have effects on it. I've got all my potential looping capabilities on each track. I've got a thing called Kickstart, which is nice. Um, it basically gives you sidechain options. I've got EQs on it, so uh, I can filter, low pass filter everything up and down. So if I have a blazing synth that all of a sudden we go into a lower moment, I can cut that top end off. Uh, Anything like that, any leads, stuff like that. It's really cool. Um, let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. I've also I would throw movement on there, so to take a pad or take strings and turn it into some sort of loop, and it's sweet, really sweet. Okay, anyway, so that's that. So then from there, these are all my live sounds here, all the way to the chord. Now from here's where we're getting into the nitty gritty, as Nacho might say, as Nacho Libre might say. Uh, the loops, stems, uh, guitars, bass, pads and synths, uh, your vocals. I got an infinite pad and another infinite pad for what reason I don't know. I have no idea why there's 2 infinite pads. Probably shouldn't be. Probably shouldn't be. Does not need that second one, but that's okay. So I'll handle that later. So normally how I run at the church now, I just got loops and then I break it up into keys. What I break it up into loops, and then I break it up into keys section, and then which includes strings, synths, pads, piano, Rhodes, all the organ, any of those kind of things. And then I've got separate my guitars. I separate, and that's acoustic, electric, all that. And then I separate bass, which can sometimes have 2 or 3 tracks, which is your live bass, and then a couple synth basses sometimes. And then I'll all the pads and stuff where I have here, I just put that in the keys on my other grouping in my other Ableton session. I might pull it up if there's time, but I don't want to take too long on this. and then I have my Vox separate. The reason that I don't stick them all into a stems group is because there's many times on the fly where one track is sticking out, or maybe my sound guy's like, yo, this track, this Vox level is way too high. I need it to be down. Or like if I'm playing with one electric player, whatever part that he's playing, I want to mute that. So I don't want to go through stems and then have to search each track. I just want to go, okay, my guitar, electric 1, electric 2, whatever. Find the track that needs muted, mute it. Okay, so the way I'm going to show you is how to use multitracks or use any sort of stems to create. So here's how I do it. I do it in this view. I guess first of all, I don't want to get ahead of myself. How I do it is I'll put my song list up here. So for when you're flowing, sometimes you have to have the option, especially when I was at the ramp, you have to have the option for any song that has ever been sung in the history of mankind. You have to know it. You have to be ready to play it. You have to have it right there. So I can't just have an Ableton session with the set list of the day, because especially at the ramp, you hit your first song, your second song sometimes, and then from there, I mean, you have no idea where it's going. Sometimes you don't even make it that far. You never make it out of the first song if you've ever been to the ramp. So you go through those, and then at that point, the set list, you might hit it, you might not. It might just go in a totally different direction, and a lot of times it does. So you have to be ready with the click, you have to be ready with the stems and tracks and everything right there on command. You don't have time to pull up another Ableton session with those things. You have to have it all in one Ableton session. The downfall is that makes your Ableton sessions pretty slow. But it functions fast, but as far as saving, sometimes it can take like 10, 15, 20 seconds to save. But anyways, so I've got my song list. Whatever the set list is, I will go down, copy that whole song and put it up here. And then I've got my infinite pads here for whatever key. So if we just need something super duper fast and it just needs an infinite pad, I'll throw that up. Just click on there and it'll come up. Okay, then here, my master set list. I did it this way just so I can flick through really easy and see, okay, I'm into my master set list. Then I go alphabetical, A, alphabetical all the way down, B, C, and you get the picture, all the way down to numbers, like 10,000 reasons. And because, the number 1 is not in the alphabet. I don't know if you actually knew that, but you've learned something new today. So you're welcome. You're welcome for that. So the way that I do it, too, with having to memorize 1,000 songs, I'll put Ableton's a great place to put your keys. So key of G, peace be still, and then here's your BPM and your time signature and all that. Sometimes like here I'll put my keys E, praises be lifted up. I'll throw my notes down here. This doesn't have any stems, but I'll put my notes down here. That's a little cheat for you guys if you're running Ableton. You just put your notes there. Easy. Okay. So that's how it looks. Now, again, the more songs you have, the slower Ableton's going to run, and the slower potential it's going to have or the more potential it's going to have for a crash. Okay, we're working into 10 minutes here, and I haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty, so I need to hurry this bad boy up. Done showing off my thing. Let me pause this. Let me pull up a little faster Ableton session so we can get to work. Okay, so I've pulled up my session from the church where I'm at now, Fellowship of Praise. And so you can see it's a little different how I've got it set up. I'm not running any live sounds through Ableton. I've got my click and guide here. I've got my loops, my keys, guitars, bass, Vox, and an infinite pad ready. But all of this over here is pretty well the same as far as this goes. It's all alphabetical order and whatever. And it's definitely running laggy. and slow. So what I'm going to do is pull up a brand new session and kind of replicate all this here really quick and get this Ableton working fast. And then I will show you how to cut up all of this from Multitracks. Okay, so I've kind of just created a bit of a blank Ableton thing in a sense. Still got our, click and guide, loops, keys, guitar, bass, Vox, and our infinite pads and stuff like that. Okay, so I've created a track here, just Breakthrough by Eddie James, and got the BPM set 4/4. So what you want to do is the first thing is click on that to make sure that up here that you're sitting at 147, the same as you are here. Now, if you don't know how to set all that up, it's really simple. Right click. You can edit your launch tempo, edit your time signature. I'm not going to get much into that, but that's what we're working on. All right. So hit tab. It'll bring you over here. This is a previous song. So here's what I do. I go over here, Command A, open all of them up completely wide. Get all the way over here to the beginning. I take this orange button here off, this orange button here off, and then you drag your stems in. If it'll let me pull this over here. What in the world? I do not know why this not let me bring it over. Whatever. Okay. Give me a second. Let me figure this out. This is me acting a fool. All right, we're back. I had this as a full screen, and that's why it wouldn't let me bring it over. Makes sense. All right, so you can see the name here, Breakthrough Aux Keys Stem. All right, so you just go down and drag them over. If you drag them over fast enough, it'll leave this here up. If not, then it will bring you all the way to Ableton, and you'll have to get all the way back here. It's very annoying. So let's see, aux keys. Scroll it down to the keys. Throw it on there. And you don't have to be all the way over quite yet. Let's see, where are we at? Bass. And you just go through one by one, drag them where you need it. BGVs. Throw it on choir, why not? Or I got a BGV spot. Drum, all the way up to the drums. Here you go. Guitar. Now, a lot of times, these names are going to be a little different. They'll be like electric guitar, guitar 1, electric 1, whatever. But I think I might have named these. So, all right, lead vocal stem. A lot of times you're not going to get that. I'll just throw it here. Main keys. It's going to be your piano. Sounds to me like I named these. It's usually going to be a little different. Perk. Got your percussions. Here. Loop A. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I definitely messed around with this myself because these loops are short. Okay. So once you do that, you drag them all in, put them where you need them to be. Drag them all to the beginning here. And again, you should be at 147. Make sure that is the right tempo for your song. Drag them all over so that they're all even. Okay, then what you want to do is Command Option L brings this up here. And from here, click in here, Command A highlights everything. So what you want to do is warp everything. You don't want to loop anything at all. You just warp everything. And for now, we can have it on complex. But what you really want then is to come back on your click guide. Anything that you don't want to shift the pitch of. So if you change keys, if you need to go from A to G, complex will allow you to do that. But we don't want to do that to the drums because we don't need higher drums. That's silly. Anything non-melodic we don't need. We don't want a higher pitched click or a guide so that it sound like a chipmunk. You know, if we have to change things, we don't want that. So you go from click, guide, go all the way to through your drums, get all that, and turn it to beats. And that's it. Okay, so everything else is complex. Now, some people have said to do Complex Pro. What I found is that a lot of times if there's if it's polyphonic, a lot of times it won't catch one of those tones, and it'll sound real jacked up, and it won't accurately change the key with it. So Complex solves all that for me. Anyways, does great. So I know I'm trying to talk quick. This is already a long video, and I don't want to take your guys' time up, but you can always rewatch, pause, and do what you need to do. Okay, so let me get this squared up to where it would be a normal song with a click in there and everything like that. Well, no, I won't. I'll just keep going. So normally you're going to have a click with Multitracks. You're going to have a guide. I got these from somebody with Eddie James, so I didn't quite get exact Multitracks since I didn't need to. Most of the time, I just deal with Multitracks, right? So you have your click, you have your guide, and then all your other tracks down here. So from here, you can, again, Command Option L if you're on a Mac. Get rid of that if you want, or you can always just hit this triangle up and down. So go back up, click and guide, highlight all of those, Command A, close them, and then go back to click and guide and open it. There's a reason I do this. You'll see it in a second. Okay, so you listen. Well, I can't hear it, so I got to figure that out. Probably here, and I believe I'm right. Let's get this going out. Oop, not 3 and 4, but 1 and 2. Let's get it all going out 1 and 2. Okay, there we go. So the reason that we do 147 first is because normally this brings up at 120, and if we were to warp all these tracks like we did, it would warp to 120. So then when we would go back and click our right tempo for 147, it's not going to be 147. It's going to be 120, and then it's going to bump it up thinking that the starting point is 120. So we needed to know that starting point, the actual tempo is 147. So in theory, our Ableton click and that should be the same. It is. Okay.
I believe that before the night is over, somebody is leaving here with a breakthrough.
Amen. So
shout breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. Come on, somebody shout breakthrough, breakthrough.
All right, so that's all on. So let's get into that. So we've got our click. That's all set. All these tracks are set. I would have to go through and move this loop all the way over, but I'm not doing it. So here's where we're at. We've got our tempo set. We've got all these tracks warped. Open this click and guide. And here we go. Multitracks is going to start pretty well right on tempo. But because I got these tracks somewhere else,
a breakthrough in your mind.
I've got to figure something else out.
A breakthrough in your heart, a breakthrough in your mind.
Right, here's the start. You find where it starts. You listen.
People to shout breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. Come on, somebody shout breakthrough, breakthrough. Come on, somebody shout breakthrough.
So basically, you're going to listen through the song. So you click all the way up here at your top thing, click and guide. Two, three, four. So then you click all the way down here. Down here to highlight all of those. Copy, Command C, go over here all the way to your click and guide right here. If you do it on anything else, if you accidentally do it on click, it's going to be out of order and possibly even crash Ableton. So you put it here, and there you go. I got our loops, keys, whatever. Now, one thing that I want to bring up, this happens to me all the time. Let's see if it'll do it anywhere. Nope, that's fine. So sometimes when you go to put it on your next one, it won't put it in here. It'll shift it up and re-put it over here, over something you've already done. Okay, the way that you get around that is you close this and open and shut each one of your groups one at a time like this. It took me forever to find this, and I was very frustrated. So that's it. You just open, shut each one all the way, and then you can recopy and paste, and it works. I don't know what the problem is with that, but that's how you fix it. Here's your verse. When you get real fast at this, you can just listen to the song one thing at a time.
My enemies and my foes came upon me to eat up.
2, 3, 4. Here's your turn.
Somebody celebrate
There's
Jesus.
a double. So it's going to be to here. The next section. Here's verse 2.
Almighty defender.
So then you just go here and name each section. So your intro, verse 1 in turn. You're going to hit your verse 2 in turn. Next. So when you get really fast at this, you can do it just while listening. So you can always come up here too. Here's your turn. Yep. So here's the chorus. You see it's got this over here still. Turn. So if you have a turn, so here's my mindset. Every section that I think I might repeat, I'm going to set here. So if I think we're going to repeat a verse, if I think we're going to repeat a chorus, a bridge, like if there are any moments where like a bridge, a lot of times it'll start low and then go medium, layer up, and then layer up again to big, right? And then you'll have a down chorus and a big chorus. You want to have your options. So you want to have your chorus, you can have it, chorus big. A lot of times I'll do that, or I'll put it capitalized, or chorus low, chorus down, whatever. Bridge 1, bridge 2, bridge 3, or bridge low, bridge mid, bridge big. Something like that tells you what it is, but to where if you want to keep it at a low bridge and just vamp a low bridge, you can loop a low bridge without having to worry about it kicking into gear on you. Or if you want to loop just a big bridge, you don't have to start a low bridge all over and lose all your stems, right? So anything you think you're going to repeat and go to, if you want to do the turn 100 times, we can do the turn now because we've separated it out. So you do this, you go through the whole song all the way. Let's see. Let's get to the end of it. It goes quite a ways. It's just a click. Let's see. Right there. So they have a big wash at the end. All the way out. I'll show you what to do with this. So I'll just copy it all the way to here. Okay. So let's. Okay. So let's say that this is the whole song. It's not, but let's say it is. Just for time's sake, right? So you do this to the whole song. A lot of multi-tracks are going to have like 15 or 16 sections. I hate that. I dislike it very much. I have an APC MIDI controller that has 8 spots where you can trigger these. And so I try to get it as close to 8 as possible. So like here, I could separate out the verse and the turn, but why? Why? I don't know. If we repeat that verse, I can just re-signal this. But if after every verse we're going to a turn, I'm just going to leave it together. So You make the call, you make the judgment on that. You guys know how you flow. So you do it that way. Okay. Now, to the nitty gritty even more. So from here, normally you'll have your click and guide and all that you can work with, but you go to whatever your first track is. You copy, you hold shift and click all the way down to there, and you bring this up here. Again, it's this triangle or command option L. All right, you're going to see this because it's not beats or complex. It's both of them. Our loops have beats. All the melodic stuff has complex. The reason being is so that if we need to change the keys, like so he's here.
A breakthrough in your mind, a
If we
breakthrough
need
in
to
your
change the key,
finances, a breakthrough in your
we
family.
can highlight all of those on complex.
Breakthrough. Come on, somebody shout breakthrough.
Move your key
Come on,
up and down half steps, right? Okay. But it's not going to change or affect these at all because they're only on beats. So the other thing all of this warp stuff does is you can change the tempo. So say we like the song, but we want to change the tempo. All right, so you put the original tempo here,
a breakthrough in your mind,
and then you can
breakthrough in
scoot
your
it up or down.
finances, a breakthrough in your family. I need about 50 people to shout breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. Come on, somebody.
Wherever you want it to be, and it'll follow you, right? Okay. So that's all that if you don't know it. So what we need to do now is look at this and see how many measures is this. Now here's where the calculator comes out, little Siri action. So just drag that in to where you need it. So 30 minus 14? 30 minus 14. That's not right. 1,430 minus 14? No thanks, Siri. 30 minus 14. That's 16, right? Okay, so a lot of these maths you can do in your head, but I am always double checking myself because sometimes you'll get a random, instead of like a 4, 8, or 16 measure, you're going to get a 12 or a 10 or something with a random hold. So I always make Siri double check me. So what you do is click on that, shift, hold all the way over at that point, and then you come over here under follow action, you do 16, 0, 0, and what we can also do here is click all of these at once and go ahead and click play again. Play again. That means that when it gets done with, on all of these, when it gets done with 16 measures, it's going to count 16 measures and then play right back to the beginning. It's going to loop it. All right, so for this, it's telling you 46 minus 30. Well, that's 16. We know that. Okay, so again, highlight all of them, 16. You go all the way down the list here. What's that? 58 minus 46. 58, what's that? 10, 12. Okay, so this is an odd one. It's 12. So here you go, 12 right there. 74, 58. 74 minus 58. 16. And a couple more here. That's 78 minus 74 is 4. Just because I did a turn there to show you. Okay, and then this last one. So here's where this is different, right? So from the beginning, we made all of these play again. And I did that because that's going to be your go-to thing. You want it to loop. That way you can repeat sections and whatever without having to click on it every single time. If you guys tend to do 1,000 choruses like we did at the ramp, then I never had to re-click on anything at the beginning of each chorus. It just did it for me. It looped. That's what I wanted it to do. But when it comes to something like this, where it's a big end, a big wash, and it's done, you don't want it to play again at the end because then it gets real quiet and all of a sudden, whoosh, all over again. You don't want that. So you do no action, and that's it. You also have the options of next, so it can play next down the line. So if we click next on verse 1 and turn, after that it would automatically go here. And when I do that, I will do this on the track to let me know this is going to push it forward. It gives me a visual cue like, okay, I don't have to do anything, it's going to automatically go. But if we repeat this and I don't do anything, it's going to go here. So I do need a trigger. That's letting me know that, right? Just little life hacks for you to make your life easier. All right, so this turn, we did this for, all right, so we did this where it's no action. No action. Okay. I know there's another way with loop. That's how I first started doing all this, but it created its own problems. So, all in all, if I wanted to do this turn, here's where we're at. When it's done with its 4 measures, it cuts back over, right? Okay, so then from here, we have our song. Right there. That's our song. Everything's looping, that needs to loop. Everything's going forward, that needs to go forward to the next thing. Everybody at the big ending, at the wash, it's doing nothing after that. So once that track is done, that's it. So now I get to come over here, right click. I'm going to turn it into a color. And I always make my top one a different color, you know. Maybe something like that, but that's real ugly, but you get the idea. So that way I can tell the difference between the tracks and the start of my click. So here's just the click on this part, and then when I hit intro, we're at the intro. Okay. So we are pretty well almost done. So what you can do now, once you're done with all this, you can come over here, tab, Command A, and you can delete it. It doesn't use it anymore.
A breakthrough in your mind, a breakthrough in your finances.
Now, the thing, just typical Ableton thing, if you're on a tempo of 110, you have to click this first before you start your track. Otherwise, you're going to get this.
A breakthrough in your mind, a breakthrough in your finances.
It's going to be real whack. So you have to hit, make sure your tempo and time signature right.
A breakthrough in your mind,
there you go. Typical Ableton stuff, right? Okay. So, unfortunately, Ableton did not give me any problems with this. Almost every single time it does. I told you about the one problem where you'll try to paste something here, and they'll end up actually pasting like up here or somewhere random. It's almost usually always above, either like one above or like something random. So the way to get around that, again, open and shut every group that you have. Why do I have to do this? I don't know, but I found out that's what fixes it. So that's that. Trying to think of anything else that I've had problems with recently. I can't think of it. All of these, my quantization is set to global. And again, from here, at any point, you can click on all these, transpose, and it'll never affect the drums or anything that we put on beats, but it'll affect only everything that we put on complex. Yes, last thing that I do, I go through, so BGVs, we use all our live vocals, so I go through and mute. I keep the tracks in case we need them later, so you just go through, highlight, click 0, and mutes them. So a bass, like I don't need a bass, we got a bass player. You know, let's see, electric, there's only one electric, and we've got one. So when it comes down to it, let's see, what's this? Main keys, nope, don't need it. But we can use these aux keys if we don't have an aux keys player. Drums, we've got a drummer, we don't need these, right? So this is actually a real slim thing, but usually you still got quite a bit of tracks if you're using Multitracks, because they give you like 1,000 tracks. This very quickly in 35 minutes. It's not so quick, but I tried to give you everything that I know about it, and I hope that it helps. Hope I didn't talk you in circles. If you have any questions, let me know. There, I'm using basically shortcuts for everything, so you didn't see me clicking on a lot of stuff to get you where you need it. Tab brings you back and forth. Command Option L brings this lower thing up. You know, and then all your other typical things, right? So if you have questions, hit me in the comments. Do not be scared to do that. I will reply back to you quickly as I possibly can. Okay, and that's that. Oh, last thing, just to make sure you know. So when it is looping like this, you do have to cue the next thing. It's going to repeat it. Right there, just repeat it. Okay, so to move anywhere off of this, you have to, so if we're going back to a chorus from here, you have to cue that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I forgot, but this is very important. So this one bar right here, you can choose whatever you want. 1 30-second note all the way to none for some reason. So if you do none though, so if you do none, whenever you click on that, it's going to hit it straight away. So I use 1 bar. That's what I found is best. So if you're in 3/4, you have 3 counts to hit, to cue and trigger the next section, the next stem or whatever, next clip, whatever you call it. You have 3 counts to do that, and it'll start it at the next measure. In 4/4, like we are now, you have 4 counts. So I'll count out the 4 counts that you have to click it. Don't click it on the downbeat, or it'll be too late. It'll start the measure later. So basically, you want to start it here. You've got 4 counts of the bar ahead of it. I guess this is the right direction. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then where you need it to hit, you do it in between this 1, 2, 3, 4. You click it, and then it's going to start it here. But if you wait 1, 2, 3, 4, click, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, start. So you have to hit it in the bar before. But it allows, like for me, when I'm playing, it allows me to play piano, play bass, and then the measure before, hit it, and then come back in and play. So that way I'm not trying to hit it at the exact moment that I need it. It lets me hit it anytime in the measure ahead of it. So here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do it again. I'll tell you when I hit it. You can see it too in Ableton. 1, 2, 1, 2, hit. But if I do it 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hit it at the downbeat, and it hits a measure too late. And it goes by the count of Ableton. So if you're in 3/4, or if you're in 6/8 and you set your Ableton to 3/4, it's going to only give you 3, not 6. And if you set your tempo to double, so like 70 instead of 140, then it's going to give you 4 longer counts. Or if you set it to 4/8 instead of 4/2, right? So it's going to give you 1 measure according to how Ableton thinks, not according to how you're counting it. So here, you know, you can hear the higher pitch is the 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But if we did this in 70 or whatever, or if we did this in 4/8, you're only going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It thinks that's 1 bar. So you're going to get like a crazy amount of like small window to hit that. So just be aware of that. Ableton's counting 1 measure as how it's thinking, not how you're thinking. So you got to be aware of that. Set it how you need it to be set. Okay? Any questions, you let me know in the comments. I'll hit you back. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Unfortunately, Ableton did not give me any problems, but I was hoping to show you some of the problems that it always gives me, but it didn't. So hopefully that helps. Be blessed, all you people out there in the YouTube worlds. Bye.